What if I told you that the selling point of an iconic racing sim didn't actually work? Part of my day job now entails studying GTR2 as a product and why so many people loved it. One of the game's primary selling points, it's all over the box art, it's shown quite heavily in trailers, is the ability to run the 24 hours of Spa. And this was a pretty big deal at the time because it ushered in cool features like a full 24-hour day-night cycle, changing weather, the ability to hand off controls to an AI co-driver, and even the ability to save your game mid-race because, let's face it, the majority of you guys do 20-minute sprint races against the AI. Nobody's going to sit down and do this all in one go. You need a mid-race save feature. So basically, as a product, everything cool that GTR2 brought to the table as a racing sim some 17 years ago was centered around the idea that they want to simulate the 24 hours of Spa. Yes, you can run the 3-hour events seen on the 2003 and 2004 FIA GT1 calendar, but every defining feature of this game is designed to make the 24 hours of Spa, when you eventually decide to run it in chunks hopefully, awesome. And these features, of course, all help to propel GTR2 into somewhat mainstream success. The game sold shockingly well for a niche racing sim at the time, which in turn put Slightly Mad Studios on the map as a major player in the racing game landscape, which led to talks and eventually a contract with Electronic Arts to make 2 Need for Speed games, and eventually later on down the road, 3 Project Cars games. This is where I'm about to blow your mind. This could have very easily not happened. After dicking around with GTR2 for an evening and being a pretty highly proficient sim racer, I'm left under the impression that nobody who reviewed this game actually played it, and none of the sim racers singing its praises on sites like Race Sim Central and others that were around back in the mid-2000s did anything more than 20-minute sprint races. This game was so hardcore and so advanced for where sim racing was in 2006 that 99% of people who owned this game back in the day never actually put it through its paces and never did more than a handful of laps at a time. If they did, they would have discovered that the big race the game is built around doesn't actually work. All of the new features and technical improvements that were crammed into this game were built for a race that doesn't work. To its credit, the game drives extremely well. I mean, this is one of the best driving games, even in 2022, that I've probably ever played. This, to me, is what a car feels like. I could not be happier with the force feedback, the way the car behaves under braking, the way the car accelerates, the way the car holds and recovers from a slip angle. This is one of the best driving games ever. The problem is, when you try and play GTR2 the way God intended, the 24 hours of Spa, 112% AI difficulty, a full field of cars, aggression set to real, it doesn't actually work. It falls apart in, according to the timer on the top right of the screen, 82 minutes. In the top left of the screen is the delta to the race leader. I'm running in second right now. I just finished my first pit stop of the event a couple laps earlier. The delta when I started this clip was 20 seconds. In a span of a single lap and a couple extra corners, that delta is now down to 3.8 seconds. An hour into a race, I should not be 17 seconds faster per lap than another GT1 car. This is not right. And even in a single straightaway, I've managed to gain 1.5 seconds on the race leader, who's now directly in front of us driving a black and turquoise Celine S7R. He's going so slow, he's basically in a different class. Ditto for the car in third place. Again, look at the delta in the top left. Third place is 40 seconds behind me. The entire field of AI cars all have engine damage an hour into a 24-hour race. Now, while the speed isn't affected on straightaways as we enter this double left-hander here, watch how quickly I'm able to get by the race leader and he disappears in my mirror. There is something seriously wrong with the AI cars to gain a second on them per corner. And like I said, that was just the race leader. Every other car on the track also has this problem. The entire field of cars in the race are running on 6 cylinders. This is very obviously not fun, and I'm not going to finish the race. This is lame. Why is this happening? I caught this on film. The AI cars don't know how to pass back markers. Here you see the ProDrive 550 being held up by an NGT car. He has no idea how to get around him, so he just starts ramming into the back of him, which in turn I get caught up in because I'm very obviously not expecting it, and both AI cars are getting damaged from this. This situation happening lap after lap, corner after corner, with every single back marker an FIA GT1 car comes up upon, whether it be another GT1 car they're lapping or a car in a slower class, systematically damages every single car in the field to the point where they're running around the track at half speed just an hour into a 24-hour race. The game built for sports car endurance racing, even though there's a 24-hour day-night cycle, even though there's weather, even though there's mid-race saves, and even though there's an AI co-driver, cannot handle endurance racing. And no sim racer or reviewer at the time talked about this. Imagine what would have happened to the sim racing landscape as we know it if someone actually caught this back in 2006.